Hey kids, so this is 3 radio buttons and then another button to click on. And functions again, this will be with functions as well. So here's how this works. So I used radio buttons this time. Last app I used checkboxes. This app I used radio buttons, and they're a slight difference. So I'm instructed to click on a radio button and go. So I click on the radio button, click on go, and it tells me I clicked on the left one. But here's the thing about radio buttons. I can't uncheck a radio button. So if I click on it again, nothing happens. In order for me to change it, I need to go to another radio button in my group. So middle, right, left, right. There's a lot of sound that could be connected to these radio buttons, by the way. Anyway, so here's how I did this. This was a label. And I set the initial text and I made it rather large and I made my font size 40 and I centered the text. The radio buttons, what I did is I set one of the radio buttons up and then I duplicated the rest. And that made sure that they were all in the same group. So don't change the group ID, and you won't do anything with the group ID for right now, but I did make my radio button width and height both 50. And then what I did is once I got one of them set, I named this the left button, but then I duplicated it over here on the right side twice, and I got a middle button, and I had a right button. But all of them are in the same radio group, which means if I click on one, I click on another, they kind of all work together. And then this is a button. You know how the button works. I named it with the text go, and I made it kind of large. And the button is going to control things. The button's going to control things. So let's see how we can do this. So over yonder, I'm not going to declare any variables. I really don't need any variables. I'm going to show you a different way to check if a radio button or checkbox is clicked. That might be helpful. And I do want to focus on trying to use a function to kind of, it's an abstraction in code.org speak or in computer science principles speak. So it'd be nice if we kind of work with functions and practice working with functions. But I am going to need an event block for the button. So I'm going to drag that puppy out there and I'm going to go back and show blocks. And that is button 1. And when I click on it, I'm going to run a function that is going to check which button has been pressed and set the property of the label for me. So I'm going to use the function tab and I'm going to grab this function here on the top and I'm going to drag it right there. And there are 3 things that could happen. I click on the left button or the right button or the middle button. So in my control blocks, I'm going to choose an if else block. And I'm going to click on the plus sign down here to add one more empty space. So I have 3 empty spaces, 1 for each block. Now in this first block, I want to check to see if the first radio button, the left radio button, has been selected. So in the UI controls, there is a get checked box. I'm going to drag it and drop it right in the hole. And this is my left button. You need to know the names of your buttons in order for you to use that block well. Okay, so if the left button is checked, that's what it's saying. It's checking to see if it's checked or not. If it's checked, yes, it's going to do this code here. If not, it's going to go to the else if and check that. So if it is checked, I want to set the property. So I want to set the property of the label, and I want to set the text, and I'm just going to go left right now because that's the left block that's been checked. Let's set up the next one. Else if, let's check to see, well, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and drag the set property there because I'm going to need that in a second. Let's get the next check. Let's go back and get the check, get checked. Here it is. Drag that to the hole. And this is my middle button. And when that is checked, I'm going to set the text of the label to middle. And I don't need to check any other get checks, because if the left button is not checked, and if the middle button is not checked, by default, it is the right button. So I'm going to set the property of the label, and I'm going to set the text of it, and I'm going to set that to be right. Now, the only thing left for us to do is to call the function. So I'm going to grab this function block and stick it up there. And I'm not changing the names, but I could change the names. I could say that, like, it's nice to name your function something that describes its purpose, especially when you get towards the AP exam. But for right now, so what will happen is every time I click on the button, I'm going to run this function, and it's going to do all these steps for me. So I could add other things, and I could just refer to my function. It would work. But let's see what happens. All right, click in the middle and go. And that worked. Click on the right, click on the left, and that appears to be working as intended, kids. So focus on using functions. Focus on using functions. It will be helpful in the long run, and you're going to have to use a function on the stuff you submit to the AP at the end of the year. So let's get used to it, kids. You're doing an awesome job. Keep it up.